Did you see how FIFA responded to reports that allegedly nearly 20,000 FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets were canceled in response to the murder of Renee Good? All of this started with a tweet from a Lebanese diplomat, Mohammed Safa, writing, "I canceled my World Cup tickets. The ICE may decide I am a gang member, and I'll be locked in prison for a year with no charges. No hearing, no trial, no right to consult a lawyer, no phone." Ending the tweet with, "The US is not safe to visit." In a short amount of time, there was a lot of conversations about people canceling the FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Even though nobody could verify if these numbers were accurate, but it seemed like this tweet rattled someone either in the US government or in FIFA, because the diplomat who started the conversation had his US visa threatened over talking about canceling his tickets and his protest against ICE. So after this story was out there a few days, that people were canceling their tickets because they were afraid to come to the US after they saw what happened to Renee Good, FIFA finally responded, saying that these claims are not only inaccurate reports with no substance, and that statistics set to be released Wednesday will further prove the opposite. That was in reference to the random selection draw which closed on Tuesday. And FIFA reported that 500 million ticket requests were submitted in a 33-day window. And the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, said, "500 million ticket requests in just over a month is more than demand. It's a global statement. On behalf of FIFA, I would like to thank and congratulate football fans everywhere for this extraordinary response." There was no mention in their comments on what is happening in the US with ICE and murdering people. Look, what people need to remember at the end of the day is that FIFA is a business. And as much as they claim to care about the fans, they care about the money. They don't care what's happening to the people in the streets. And they don't care that those same kind of things could happen to their fans if they come to the US. When we saw these numbers being reported, sure, part of us were like, great, this is going to hurt FIFA. But most of us were like, great, less people are going to get hurt. Because I promise you, this isn't hyperbole. This tweet and this boycott FIFA movement started a week ago. And things have only gotten worse since then. These games start in June. So we urge you to think about your safety before it's too late. I urge you to share this with someone who is thinking about coming to these games, especially in the US. Tell them not to come here.
There is that criticism that Russia faced a ban and Israel did not.
Yeah, I mean, the situations were of course different, but ultimately as well, you know, the Israel-Gaza situation got resolved, and again, a ban is a defeat. I even think we should look into our own statutes as FIFA in the future and see whether we should not enshrine in our statutes that we should actually never ban any country from playing football because of the acts of their political leaders. Because somebody needs to keep the ties open.
76 countries just got banned from coming into the United States. Out of all these countries, how many do you think are playing in the World Cup? This sock puppet, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, froze all foreign visa processing indefinitely. And we have a tournament in a couple of months where the whole world comes to the host country to cheer on their team. And in this list, there's a couple of countries that are qualified for the World Cup. Here's the list: Iran, Uzbekistan, Egypt, Algeria, Ghana, Senegal, not allowed to come to the United States. We're seeing a pattern here. Are these interesting countries that aren't allowed? Morocco, Tunisia, Colombia, Brazil. Brazilians can't. Are you telling? There's no way that you're going to tell me that you're going to stop Brazilians from coming. Like, that's insane. Brazil, Uruguay. What are we doing?
Could we actually see a boycott of the 2026 World Cup? FIFA's Gianni Infantino has just broken his silence on calls for nations to pull out of the US-hosted tournament. The row stems from President Trump's recent attempts to annex Greenland. Now, some senior European football figures, and even former FIFA boss Sepp Blatter, are suggesting teams should stay home in protest. But Infantino is firing back. He's rubbishing the boycott talk, calling it pointless. His logic? He says businesses and diplomats aren't being asked to boycott the US, so why should football? This is coming at a time when FIFA is also talking about lifting the ban on Russia. Infantino's stance is clear. Sport should stay out of politics. But with the US set to host the biggest World Cup in history this summer, the debate shows no signs of going away. So the big question is, would a boycott be a powerful move for human rights and European sovereignty? Or does it just punish the fans and the players? Can sport really stay neutral when state leaders bask in the reflected glow of big tournaments? Drop a flag for the country you're backing and let us know. Should the World Cup go ahead as planned? Hit follow for more from City AM.
Over 16,800 people canceled their FIFA World Cup tickets over the last 48 hours. This surge in cancellation of tickets is fueling a call for a boycott of the World Cup in general in America, citing that America is not safe for not only the fans, but especially the athletes that are coming from nations that our current government deems shitholes. 4 years ago, the World Cup was held in Qatar. When that announcement was made, there were a bunch of human rights organizations and watch groups who had their ears turned up to say, how could you possibly do a World Cup in the Arab world that's not in line with democracy, freedom, and human rights? And now we have people from the Arab world canceling their tickets in the modern free Western world due to human rights concerns and violence that's being done against people of a specific race, religion, and phenotype. Fans are citing safety fears, political protests, and a growing human rights concern about the way that humans are being treated in America. In response to the growing backlash, FIFA has announced that they're going to set an emergency meeting this week to discuss the ongoing concerns and how to mitigate tens of thousands, if not 100,000 people canceling their tickets. The games are set to start from June 11th, and they're taking place in Canada, America, and Mexico, but the bulk of the games are being done in America, where we currently have ICE and police attacking American citizens. Like, I knew that this would be a concern, especially with when you look at the countries that are football, soccer fans. It's all the people that this current administration hates. It's not majority white people. Yeah, a lot of Europeans love soccer, but a lot of the countries are coming from black, brown, Muslim, Arab, Asian, Latino people. The people that by said racial profiling would get picked up by ICE. ICE, who is killing American citizens and rounding up kids, underage kids. ICE even rounded up a priest, and they had a priest at gunpoint. And then they put the priest in the car, detained him, and they kept trying to intimidate the priest. And he was like, I'm not scared of you. And then they said to him, well, you're white. You're not fun anyway.
An ICE agent literally came over to me and said, what did you say? I said, I am not afraid. And they pointed a gun in my face. ICE put handcuffs on my hands and put me in a black SUV. And then a few moments later, they came back and they said, are you afraid yet? And I said, no. And then they said it. Well, you're white. You wouldn't be fun anyway. It was then that I knew that this staging, that these ICE raids are really about fear and intimidation.
Just proving the point that all of the racial tensions in this country are at the behest of the current administration, but that ICE is racially profiling people, and white people should have been safe, but they just killed a white woman. I say all that to say there is growing concern for human rights issues and safety in this country. And how long does America get to act like they're still the beacon of the world, the beacon of freedom, and the beacon of democracy? Because in fact, we're definitely not.